Hi there, everyone. This is Leah at the Race Center and Tyler with the Waterville Valley Recreation Department, and we are in the snow.
Yes, and we are a little bit bundled. Um, and maybe it's a little bit premature. It's actually pretty nice out here today, but there's weather coming. And so this weather event is going to be a cold weather event, and that made me think about some other um, recent and a little bit more distant weather events. Including last week, we had some ice. And those of you who are around this area, the White Mountains, in 1998 may remember a very big ice storm that happened then. Over 1 million acres of forest within New Hampshire was affected by that ice storm. There was some sort of damage. So a lot of trees ended up looking like this one right here. So these trees had anywhere from 1/8 of an inch, in some areas up to 2 or 3 inches of ice accumulating on those trees. And a tree of 20 to 30 feet, that could be several tons of ice. And that is a lot for a tree to manage, and there were many who did not and ended up looking like this. So if you drove up the Kangamangas Highway in February of 98, that storm was January 5th through 11th. So there were two things that happened. A great deal of ice accumulated, and then there were very high winds. So there was like 2 to 3 days of ice accumulation, and then 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. And that was a bit too much for many trees to bear, especially birch trees and beech trees. And so there were many birch trees that were bowing over with the weight of the ice and just snapped. And so driving up the Kank, you could just see all of these topless birch trees up there that just had been, mowed down. And many of the beech trees actually suffered a lot of damage because they were already dealing with the beech bark disease. And so this is one of the ways that those connections in nature matter. And this one thing that seems like, okay, it's a problem for the species with the bark specific to that, but then actually those trees are falling because of the wind falling on others. So all sorts of stuff happening. And so foresters who are out, people who are out, you may remember yourself being out during that time, just being kind of amazed at the extent of the damage. Like, wow, it's going to be a while before the forest recovers from this. One thing that did happen was a lot of this. So there was a lot of wood that fell out of the canopy and onto the ground. And there are some ways that was a benefit. And so in another nature connection, we'll talk about that in just a moment.
Thank you very much.